Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Female Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Danny, and today is a solo podcast. This is a completely unscripted podcast that is related to a post I did this week, actually, but I felt the need to talk about it because I think it's important. And it's important that I talk openly and honestly about this subject. And I think it's also important for some of you guys to hear from my perspective as people who may need my help at some point on a one-to-one basis, and also so that you can just hear my thoughts on this subject if you are maybe a personal trainer or a coach yourself. So I'm going to get into it. But before I do, as always, if you do enjoy the content on the Female Fitness Podcast, it would mean the absolute world if you could show your support by hitting like, subscribe, leave a review or a comment down below if you're on YouTube, and share that you're listening on your Instagram story so that I can reach more people and therefore help as many people as possible, because this is obviously free content that people can benefit from. So please share it and help me reach more people. It would mean the world. On top of that, if any of you are interested in working together on a one-to-one basis towards your training performance or body composition related goals, whilst keeping your health intact, or if you need help moving through the post-show process and into life after bodybuilding, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Drop me a direct message, Danny Bosworth, on Instagram. That's DANNIBOSWORTH, and I would be more than happy to hear from you. We can get you booked in for a consultation call that is completely free of charge and there's no strings attached. It will just give us an opportunity to talk a little bit about where you're currently at, what you're wanting to achieve, how we would get you there. You can ask me any questions that you have about the coaching process or about how I work in general, about what I would do with you moving forwards if we were to work together as a coach and client, and just basically an opportunity for us to catch up. There's no strings attached. It's completely free of charge. So drop me a message if you want to book in for a consultation call, or head to the link in my Instagram bio. So this podcast is going to be a little bit of a brain dump. I have felt quite frustrated recently. And the reason for that is that a lot of the inquiries I have been getting over the past few months from people that are interested in working with me are from women who really need my help. They don't just want to achieve a bit of fat loss progress or develop a little bit of muscle tissue, but they genuinely need my help because they are struggling. They're struggling with their relationship with food, their body image. They're struggling with their sense of identity. They feel like they've got a loss of identity because of moving away from contest prep or a photo shoot prep. They're struggling with their overall well-being, their relationship with exercise. They sometimes feel guilt and shame towards consuming food. They are in a position where sometimes they're starting to not enjoy training anymore. They feel they feel like a decline in their sense of self-worth because of the way that they have been treated by previous coaches. And that's really unfortunate. And the reason they're struggling with a lot of the issues they're facing with their body image, with their relationship with food, with their relationship with exercise, the way that they view themselves, with their sense of identity, their sense of self-worth, a lot of these issues that they're experiencing are as a result of bad experiences with coaches in the past. They're as a result of how they have been treated as a client. These struggles they're facing could have been completely avoided if they had started up with a coach who actually cared about them beyond a placing in a show, beyond their external appearance. Because if they had gone with a coach who cared about them beyond placings in shows, beyond their external appearance, that coach who actually cared would have either gone about the process differently or actually advised these people to not go through with the process for the good of their own health, because the goals that they set themselves, whether that be a photo shoot or stepping on stage, in some situations weren't appropriate for those individuals at that moment in time. And what those coaches that they inquired with should have said is, this is not the right time for you to go through a contest prep or a photo shoot prep. Those coaches should have explained that going through a contest prep or a photo shoot prep would have harmed them from a health perspective and put them in a worse position. Even if the prep temporarily masked issues that they were facing, they have harmed these individuals throughout the process. And if they went with a coach who cared, they either would have gone about the process differently so that harm was not caused, and they would have provided the aftercare after these individuals stopped that photo shoot prep or stopped that contest prep after they stepped on stage. And they would have cared about these individuals beyond a transformation picture. And they would have been tracked very differently if they went with a coach who cared. And so it's really sad, because these individuals have not been given the support that they need when they've needed it the most. Support behind the scenes of the physical transformation, support after the contest prep is over and whatever placings have been obtained. When they're struggling with their health, their body image, their relationship with food, their relationship with exercise, their sense of self-worth. These are struggles that can have such a profound impact on an individual's quality of life. They can be shattering, really shattering, and these individuals are mentally and physically exhausted. Yet their coach has told them that the physical transformation they have achieved is a success, and are using that physical transformation in a lot of cases to market their services and attract new clients. And sometimes these clients that have been neglected are even ignored once the coach has their physical transformation. They're asking questions not to be replied to. Some of the stories that I've heard about neglect in the fitness industry are disgusting, and it almost sometimes makes me feel ashamed to be a part of it. It really upsets me and it makes me feel frustrated. I really wish that these women, you women, if you're listening to this, did not have to go through what you have been through. And I really wish that it wasn't possible for coaches who are doing what they're doing for the wrong reasons to make a career for themselves. These coaches that don't actually care and are in it for financial gain. It's really unfortunate that the fitness industry is attracting this type of person who just is very business minded, and they want to create a successful business, but they don't really care how they go about it. And so they don't have the same care for clients that coaches like I do, because I got into this industry because I wanted to help people, not because I wanted to make money. I used to when I was about 14, 15 and started going to the gym, I used to look up to the personal trainers and think, wow, what a job that they have the pleasure to be able to do, that they have the power to put a smile on someone else's face. I used to look at these personal trainers and fitness instructors and think, wow, like they have the power to genuinely improve someone's quality of life, to make someone's day that little bit better, to improve someone's physical and mental health, to help people deal with issues or overcome issues that they never thought that they could overcome. I just thought the world of personal trainers, fitness instructors, and coaches. And so that's why I got into the industry, because I wanted to have that impact. I wanted to be able to make people smile. I wanted to be able to help people improve their quality of life. I wanted to take people on a journey. I wanted to be able to show people how they can show up for themselves, able to push people out of their comfort zones and show them what they're capable of, and genuinely have probably like the biggest impact on someone's life, or one of the biggest impacts on someone's life that you could have in comparison to any other profession in the world. And that's why I got into this industry, because I genuinely wanted to help people. It's all that I cared about. And so it makes me really sad when I see other people in the industry who don't give a single shit about people's health and well-being, and they're literally just in the industry to make a bit of money, and they're putting these people into horrendous positions. And then the perception that the general public then sometimes have of coaches is quite negative. And that's really, it's so hard to think that people might think that of people like myself, when all I want to do is help people. And because of the treatment that some people are receiving from these coaches who don't care, these people are now reluctant to invest in a coach again, worried it'll turn out like it's done before. At a time in their lives where they actually need it the most, because when they've been through that neglect, when they've worked with a coach who's treated them badly, when they're struggling with their relationship with food and their body image because of that, when their health is in tatters, that is when these people need the right coach. They need a coach who cares, and they need a coach more than they needed a coach when they started a contest prep. But they're worried it will turn out like it did before, and they're hesitant to invest in a coach again because of that experience. But it's exactly what they need. And so those bad experiences are stopping people getting what they need when they really need it. And that's a really sad fact. And it makes me unhappy and frustrated to think that I could be associated with coaches in the fitness industry who are capable of so much harm and who are in it for the wrong reasons. So I constantly have to remind myself to stay focused on myself and my own service, and to keep fighting a good fight for those of us who do genuinely care and genuinely want to improve people's lives, which sometimes feels like an uphill battle. Because if I pay attention to all of the neglect and the misinformation in the fitness industry, it sometimes makes me want to throw my phone and laptop out of the window and run away. And it makes me really sad that there are coaches that cause harm on a regular basis that are able to be successful. And it makes me sad as well that people are still investing in their services without doing their research. Because although these coaches should not be able to do what they're doing, we also have to take some personal responsibility. When we're investing in a coach, when we're looking for a coach, we have to do our research. And research isn't looking at transformation pictures, because you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Someone could have made ridiculous progress with their external appearance, with fat loss, for example, because they have had every drug under the sun thrown at them. They could make that external appearance progress, that fat loss progress, despite their relationship with food being in the absolute gutters. Not because of their relationship with food being in a good place, despite it being in the gutters. They could be binge eating behind the scenes. You never know what is behind the scenes of a transformation picture. They could have a really bad relationship with themselves. Their body image could be crap. They could have such a low sense of self-worth because they have defined success as being shredded, and maybe they're no longer shredded past that transformation picture. Maybe they're out of date pictures and that person has regained all of the body fat that they once lost and is in a worse position now than they ever have been before. You never know what's behind the scenes of a transformation picture. And so when I say do your research on the coach you're investing in, that does not involve just looking at transformation pictures. You need to ask, what is this coach's values? How are they going to treat me? What do their processes look like? What are they going to do to prioritize my health throughout the process of us working together? What is the aftercare going to be like? Do I feel like I can talk to this coach openly and honestly about everything that I need to talk to them about? Because you need, in order to keep your health intact, in order to post-show get back to normal life and recover from contest prep, you need to be able to talk to your coach about your mental health. You need to be able to talk to your coach about your relationship with food, your menstrual cycle, other personal details potentially to some extent. You need to be able to talk to them about digestion and your bowel movements. Can you talk to your coach about these things? If not, you shouldn't be working with them, or you need to tackle that element of your relationship. Do you feel like you can contact your coach? You should feel like you can contact your coach. I would highly advise talking to a coach's past and current clients and asking their experience, asking what their goals were and if they're similar to yours, asking what their values are and if they line up with the coach's values. Jump on a consultation call with the coach. Most coaches offer free consultation calls to get to know people before you start working together. And they're a great opportunity to get to know who you might be working with, whether you gel, whether you can communicate with them and what they stand for and what the process will look like with them. Get them to show you how they work. Ask them what the process will look like. Ask them how they will look after your health. Take note of this if they ask you questions about your relationship with food and your menstrual cycle before you start prep. Because if they don't, that's a massive red flag. Even general, like if you're just wanting to go through a general fat loss phase or a muscle building phase and you get in touch with a coach, they should ask you about your training history. They should ask you about your period. They should ask you about things such as your relationship with food and your body image and what your life looks like. They shouldn't just be giving you a generic plan. And so we need to do better in doing our research before we invest in coaches. We have to take some responsibility for that, because not all coaches are the same and the industry is unfortunately unregulated, which means that anybody can become an online coach. Ask what their qualifications are. Do they even have the basics? Because if not, it might be a little bit of a red flag, unless this individual has done a ton of research themselves and you know that for certain. So we need to have a think about these things and follow them on social media. Does their content provide value? Do they provide education? Do they provide awareness? Or is it just transformation picture after transformation picture and stage picture after stage picture? Because how do you really know that they care? How do you really know that they know what they're talking about if all they post is transformation pictures? Because let me tell you, anybody could coach someone through a transformation. But that doesn't mean that anyone can coach someone through a transformation well, keeping their health intact and making sure that they maintain a good quality of life throughout the process. So this is something that I want you all to go away and think about. If you're thinking of investing in a coach, if you're working with a coach at the moment, what is your experience like? Is your health being neglected? Do you feel like you can communicate with them? Invest in the good ones. Let's stop allowing the a-holes in the industry to be successful. Let's stop investing in them. And let's work with a coach who actually cares so that we can keep our own health intact and our quality of lives so that we don't end up in a heap at the end of it. Because you guys matter. All of you as individuals matter. And you need to look after yourselves. We get one body and one mind. You don't get 9 lives. You don't get 9 different bodies. And you also can't get your time back. So spend it wisely. They are my words of wisdom today. Hopefully that was a helpful and insightful podcast. Please do like and subscribe and share on your Instagram story if you have enjoyed. I appreciate it massively. And get in touch if you are interested in working together. If any of you would like any supplements from Full Ball, you can use the code Danny10 to save you a little bit of money. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon.